Welcome back, everyone, to our second part of Mortal Kombat Deep Dives. In our last video, you've journeyed with us through the mystic realms and discovered some incredible behind-the-scenes secrets about this classic flick. But we're not done yet. In this part, we're diving even deeper into the Mortal Kombat universe with more jaw-dropping fun facts. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and join us once again as we reveal more hidden Easter eggs and surprising details in this follow-up. And a usual reminder before we begin of major spoilers that will be included in this video. The original screenplay for Mortal Kombat was significantly more violent and contained stronger language, earning it an R rating. This approach aimed for a more faithful adaptation of the graphic and mature tone of the video game. However, the production deal with New Line Cinema stipulated that the film must achieve a PG-13 rating to ensure wider audience appeal, particularly among teenagers. This requirement necessitated significant revisions to the script, toning down the violence and profanity to meet the desired rating. This contrast is evident when comparing the 1995 film to the 2021 reboot, which received an R rating and was able to more accurately capture the graphic and mature elements of the source material. This film left a lasting impact on the franchise, as evidenced by the return of several key actors in the 2019 video game Mortal Kombat 11. Christopher Lambert, Lyndon Ashby, and Bridget Wilson-Sampras, who portrayed Raiden, Johnny Cage, and Sonya respectively in the film, all reprised their roles in Mortal Kombat 11 as downloadable content skins for their characters. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa also returned to his role as Shang Tsung in the game, and several of his memorable lines from the movie were incorporated into it, such as his catchphrase, "Your soul is mine." This seamless integration of film and game elements demonstrates the enduring legacy of the 1995 film and its continued influence on the Mortal Kombat franchise. It also allowed fans to experience these iconic portrayals within the interactive realm of the game, bridging the gap between the film and the game and offering a unique, nostalgic experience for players. The role of Jax Briggs was originally intended for actor Steve James. Tragically, James passed away from pancreatic cancer a year before filming began, and the role was subsequently given to Gregory McKinney, who also sadly passed away in 1998. Both actors lost their lives at the age of 41. Michael Jai White was also slated to play the role of Jax. However, he ultimately left the project to star in the 1995 biographical film Tyson, which depicted the life of legendary boxer Mike Tyson. Interestingly, White would later portray Jax Briggs in the web series Mortal Kombat Rebirth and the 2011 series Mortal Kombat Legacy. Bridget Wilson-Sampras had expressed interest in the role of Sonya Blade, having auditioned multiple times. However, due to the prolonged casting process, she accepted another film role, appearing in Billy Madison alongside Adam Sandler. Christina Applegate was also considered for the role of Sonya, but the producers ultimately cast Cameron Diaz after seeing her impressive performance in The Mask. Unfortunately, Diaz suffered a broken wrist during pre-production training, jeopardizing her involvement in the film. Fortunately, Billy Madison had then wrapped filming, making Wilson available again. She eagerly accepted the role of Sonya, even though it meant that she had to be flown immediately to the Mortal Kombat set and quickly trained for the demanding fight scenes while shooting the rest of the movie. The idea of adapting Mortal Kombat into a film originated with producer Lawrence Kasanoff, who after experiencing the first two games, described it as Star Wars meets Enter the Dragon. Despite his enthusiasm, Kasanoff faced significant skepticism, as previous video game adaptations like Super Mario Bros. And Double Dragon had been critical and commercial failures. Therefore, securing the film rights from Midway Games proved challenging, requiring 3 months of persistent negotiations. Even after receiving the green light, the studio head of New Line came to him to state how much he hated the script, yet told him to go ahead and make it. The film subtly incorporated a hidden message for fans of the video game series. During the fight between Liu Kang and Reptile, 6 symbols are visible on a wall. A question mark, Goro, and the Mortal Kombat logo repeated twice. This seemingly random sequence of symbols actually served as a secret code for the then newly released Mortal Kombat 3 arcade game. Entering this code would have you switch characters randomly. This clever Easter egg demonstrates the filmmakers' attention to detail and their desire to connect the film to the evolving world of Mortal Kombat games. The film features uncredited vocal performances by the legendary voice actor Frank Welker, and the IMDb website credits him as the voice that declares Reptile when he transforms into his human form, as well as the voice of Emperor Shao Kahn. Interestingly, Welker's voice bears a striking resemblance to his portrayal of Dr. Claw, the nefarious villain from the animated series Inspector Gadget.
Weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls. And the perfect opportunity to show the world the supremacy of man.
However, some fans and researchers claim that the voice that declares Reptile, as well as Shao Kahn's voice, actually belonged to Steve Ritchie, and that his voice was sampled directly from the Mortal Kombat 2 game released in 1993.
Finish him. Liu Kang wins. Fatality.
This discrepancy has led to ongoing debate among fans regarding the true identity of the voice actors behind these iconic characters. Following the box office success of Mortal Kombat, director Paul W.S. Anderson was approached by New Line Cinema to direct the sequel. However, Anderson was eager to explore different cinematic territories and accepted the offer to direct the science fiction horror film Event Horizon instead. He later expressed some regret over his decision, as he was deeply disappointed with the critical and commercial reception of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel he did not direct. This experience influenced his decision to remain actively involved in the sequels to Resident Evil, which he both wrote and directed, ensuring that he had creative control over the franchise and could guide its direction. The term flawless victory, which refers to a match where a fighter wins without sustaining any damage from their opponent, is used 3 times throughout the film. However, a closer look reveals that only 2 of these matches truly meet the criteria of a flawless victory: Sub-Zero's initial fight against a henchman where he simply freezes his opponent, and Johnny Cage's victory against the 4-armed Goro. These 2 instances accurately reflect the in-game concept of a flawless victory, while the other use of the term in the film might be considered a slight exaggeration. But some fans argue that when Liu Kang declares a flawless victory in the final fight after defeating Shang Tsung, despite Shang Tsung landing several blows throughout the fight, it can be interpreted differently if we consider the final battle as a series of distinct rounds. The initial confrontation between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung can be viewed as the first round. While Shang Tsung lands a hit, Liu Kang ultimately prevails. The subsequent appearance of Shang Tsung's warriors can be seen as an interlude, similar to a special stage in the video games, rather than part of the main fight. The second round begins when Shang Tsung transforms into Liu Kang's brother Chang. During this phase, Shang Tsung delivers a series of blows to Liu Kang without receiving any counterattacks, effectively achieving a flawless victory himself. This is where he says,
"The chosen one,"
and slams Liu's face onto the floor. Then when Kang gets up and says,
"I am the chosen one."
This starts round 3. And in this final confrontation, Liu Kang successfully counters all of Shang Tsung's attacks and ultimately defeats him without sustaining any damage. Therefore, while it might seem inaccurate on the surface, Liu Kang's declaration of flawless victory can be justified if we interpret the final battle as a multi-stage encounter, with Liu Kang declaring his win as a flawless victory in the concluding round of the fight. In the fight scene where Sub-Zero performs a series of impressive acrobatic flips down a ramp, the script originally called for Liu Kang to replicate this feat. However, despite multiple attempts, Shu was unable to successfully perform the flips. Instead, he just ran down the ramp yelling like a maniac. This improvised and hilarious performance impressed the filmmakers, and this take was ultimately chosen for the final cut of the film. The original script included a romantic subplot between Liu Kang and Kitana. Shu expressed his enthusiasm for this aspect of the story, believing it would add depth to Liu Kang's character. However, the filmmakers ultimately decided to omit the romantic element, believing that the film already contained sufficient action and that introducing a romantic subplot might detract from the core focus on the tournament and the fight scenes. This decision resulted in a different character dynamic between Liu Kang and Kitana in the final film. Lyndon Ashby had a background in martial arts prior to his casting. To further prepare for the physically demanding role, Ashby underwent intensive training in karate and taekwondo. This prior martial arts experience, combined with his dedicated training for the film, undoubtedly contributed to his convincing portrayal of the confident and skilled Hollywood action star Johnny Cage. While Ashby dedicated himself to performing many of his own stunts, he was occasionally doubled by stuntman J.J. Perry for some of the more challenging fight sequences. The filmmakers initially envisioned Sean Connery for the role of Raiden. However, Connery declined the offer, prioritizing his passion for golf over the physical demands of the role. This opened the door for Christopher Lambert, Connery's co-star from the Highlander films, to take on the role. And Danny Glover was also considered for Raiden, but Lambert was ultimately cast, bringing his gravitas and experience to the role. Talisa Soto expressed her admiration for her character's incredible strength and the challenge the role posed for her. She mentioned that she was educated about Kitana's character by her nieces and nephews while preparing for the role. Additionally, she underwent 5 weeks of martial arts training in Tai Chi Chuan and Wing Chun to get into character. The film was originally scheduled for release in May 1995, but the release date was pushed to August. This delay was due to positive feedback from test audiences. Although the test audiences enjoyed the film, they felt that it lacked sufficient fight scenes. As a result, extensive reshoots were undertaken which focused on expanding the Johnny Cage vs. Scorpion fight, culminating in Scorpion's iconic portal move, and introducing a new fight sequence between Liu Kang and Human Reptile. Interestingly, the original version of the Johnny Cage vs. Scorpion fight concluded with Cage executing a shadow kick, as depicted in the novelization and early TV spots. Similarly, the initial reptile scene ended with the reptilian form being absorbed into the gargoyle, suggesting that the gargoyle had become its tomb, rather than the creature transforming into the green ninja seen in the final cut. Additionally, neither Robin Shou nor director Paul W.S. Anderson had a clear visual reference for Reptile's lizard form during the filming of the pre-fight sequence. This forced the filmmakers to improvise his looks after filming was finished. And the reshoots of these scenes, which were led by Robin Shou as the fight choreographer, proved to be pivotal in enhancing the film's action sequences. Shou incorporated wirework martial arts techniques, which was a relatively novel approach in Hollywood filmmaking at the time. While the Matrix movie later popularized these techniques, Mortal Kombat was actually the first big Hollywood film to use them. An interesting, yet rumored piece of trivia states that the original script included a scene where the surviving combatants were given a night to mourn the loss of Art Lean, who was killed by Goro. They would have buried him in the Garden of Statues, beneath the statue of Kung Lao, marking the only appearance of Kung Lao in any of the films before the 2021 reboot. Additionally, the script reportedly featured a fight scene between Sonya and Jade, with Sonya emerging victorious. While these details make the backstory of this film more interesting, it's important to note that their veracity remains unconfirmed, as they are based on rumors and unverified accounts. And that's it for part 2 of our Mortal Kombat fun facts. We've delved into some truly fascinating behind-the-scenes tidbits, but there are still so many more secrets lurking within this classic film. So stay tuned for part 3 as we dive even deeper, uncovering more intriguing details and secrets hidden within this flick. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our latest releases. And share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on the fun. And until next time, thanks for watching, stay sharp and see you in part 3.